Welcome to the Richmond Film Network Podcast, your all-access pass to the world of independent cinema. Each week, we go beyond the credits and sit down with the creatives who turn vision into reality. Tune in weekly to find out who's on the RFN Pod.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Richmond Film Network Podcast. I am your host, Lisa Giles, and with me today is filmmaker Ethan Schmaltz, who is screening his film, The Most Delicious Game, at RFN Indie Fest on August 9th. Welcome to the podcast, Ethan.
Hello, thank you.
Now, I want to read your bio to give everyone a little bit of information about who you are. Ethan Schmaltz is a filmmaker from Southeast Michigan and a recent film student graduate and a part of the production company Pizza Sundae, which won Best in Show in the Detroit 48-Hour Film Project, along with 5 other awards. Together, they hope to move forward in the industry onto bigger and better productions. Now, just for clarification, was this a 48-hour film?
No.
Okay.
This was a thesis project for school, though.
Okay, that's what I thought, just this clarifying. And you would have no way of knowing this, but I produced the 48-hour film project for the city of Richmond. So
awesome.
I'm very familiar with that. And we have our premiere screenings on Sunday. Yeah, so tons of fun. So let's go back to The Most Delicious Game. So for those who are literary, they might recognize the parody from the classic short story, The Most Dangerous Game, where there is a hunter and a hunted situation. Now, this is loosely based on that. It takes it way into a comedic area that the original short story doesn't go to. So what sparked the idea, and how did you balance honoring the original short story, if you wanted to, while flipping it into something so absurdly funny and original?
Well, I got the idea just I was thinking about what I wanted to do for my upcoming portfolio thesis project for school, and the idea just kind of came up. Just pizza delivery drivers and The Most Dangerous Game, just merging those, and that sounded like a really fun idea. I have experience being a pizza delivery driver, jobs I've had in the past, so I think I could kind of put that into it a little bit. When it comes to honoring the story, I hadn't read it since freshman year of high school, which was over 6-ish years ago, I think, at this point. So me and my partner just read through it and got a feel for how the structure was. It's a very short story. I didn't expect it to be that short going back to it, but yeah, I wanted to honor it at least a little bit because I am basing it off of it, but I'd like to take my own spin on it,
In writing it and in crafting it for the screen, was there a particular moment that unlocked the tone? What was that point for you? Because I have my point when I'm watching it where I say, oh, okay, I know what this is going to be now.
It's kind of difficult to answer that because throughout the whole pre-production process, I was more building onto it as it went. I knew I wanted it to be funny, but I wanted it to take itself really seriously to the point where it's just absurd. Yeah, I don't have a specific point. I just know that I love the entire thing. There's so many great moments. Of course, this was my first major production that I mostly led. So I learned a lot, and I would do a few things different, but I'm really happy with it.
Well, talk to me about those things that you would do differently. What are those? And why?
Yes. One of the big things is that I am in the movie, which that shoot day was really difficult. I had been mostly directing and producing, on all the other shoot days beforehand, and that was the last thing we shot was the part where I'm in. And I really wish I let someone else play the role, just because it would have made the day go a lot smoother. I wasn't able to monitor my own performance, and I can't really look at it objectively.
Okay.
And so I'm kind of up in the air on that bit, but that's one of the ones that I would do differently.
How did you go about casting your roles for Zacharias and Spencer? Who were wonderful, by the way. They were amazing.
Thank you. I agree so much. So for the roles of Zacharias and Spencer, Zacharias being Zaroff and Spencer being the protagonist, which I think was named once at the beginning, but I don't remember his name. Starts with an S, I know that. I originally wanted my school friend, who was named Max, to play the role of Spencer. He's a younger person. He has a great personality. But he was busy during the original casting. And I sent out a backstage request online for actors. I found someone to play Spencer, and I found someone who's actually worked with us at Pizza Sundae before on other things that we've done, and it was really cool to hear from them and have them back on for something like this, which was Joe Spar. Spar. I'm not pronouncing the B enough. And he was Zacharias, the older guy. He did a phenomenal job. But when we first shot the movie, or the first day of shooting, we had a great time, honestly. It went really well. We got a lot of good footage out of it. But when we were scheduling the next shoot days, because at the time when we were producing it, we were all working on each other's theses together. So we were basically producing 3 to 4 short films at the same time, which was very hectic. So I had to squeeze in mine when I could. And the actor that was originally playing Spencer dropped out. So it kind of ruined an entire day of filming, which no ill will towards them, I understand. But it did give me a chance to get Max back onto the project, who I originally really wanted for the role. And that is who ended up actually being in the project itself.
Happy accident.
It really was.
So, by the way, the moment that I was mentioning before, where the tone was solidified for me, was the moment Zacharias opened his mouth. So he has this accent that he uses in this very stylized delivery of his lines, which I'm just thinking about, it makes me laugh. Was that directed, or was that an acting choice that he made?
It was an acting choice that he made. Okay. He was working with me before we ever shot anything, and basically sent acting styles that he could do, and that was one of the first ones he gave me, and I just told him I loved it. It was great. Keep doing that, pretty much. That was on him. It was great.
So, pizza delivery driver trapped on a remote island. It's such a specific and hilarious premise. How did you build that world of the film with such a limited amount of time and a limited budget? So obviously we're talking about locations and whatever resources that you had at your disposal.
It was difficult to build the setting. For the majority of it, it takes place at actually my grandfather's property, and that was great. That was a great place to use, but...
Is it actually an island?
No.
Okay.
I'd love that if it was, but no, we could easily fake it. Joe Spar is from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and I am way down at the very bottom. About 5-hour drive. He's from Sault Ste. Marie. I'm Ann Arbor. A lot of the Pizza Sundae people were up there shooting reshoots for the previous thing we had worked with him on, and we were tentatively planning out for me to shoot the inside of the RV scene up there, actually, instead of down here, which was a change of plans, and it worked out really well. But when we got up there, we had the chance to shoot a ferry, and everything that was out in basically the beach or the lakefront. That was all very tight, and it was our last day up there. We all went home and got home at 2 a.m. after that. We were fighting against the sun. It was a really short moment, but I'm glad it worked out very well. One of the biggest issues people brought up when I pitched the film was, how were you going to get the ferry shot? What are you going to do for that? And I had a backup plan. I knew one about 2 hours away from where I was, but having the ability to just squeeze it in up there was a miracle for me, basically.
For me as a viewer, everyone, cast and crew, understood the assignment. They knew what this was. They committed. Of course, the actors pull it off, but even the music and the editing, of course, aids in the storytelling and in the humor and landing the jokes. So tell me about that process. Who was your editor? A lot of times directors are editors as well, but and what about the music choices?
I was taking the lead on the edit.
Okay.
I had some other people who worked on the project, like take looks at it, like Mitch Mazer, the DP. He was huge. He was the second largest person on this project. He had looks at the edits as we were going along. Justice Herrera Whitney also took a pass at it, and I believe really improved, like a lot of, like tightened it up even more. One of the things I wanted to keep in mind whenever I was editing this is that I wanted to keep it tight. I didn't want to get bored at any moment throughout it. I didn't want any shot to linger more than it needed to, and I felt like it worked to the film's advantage quite well. When it comes to the music, there's not very much to say. I didn't have like any musically talented friends who were available for the score, so I commissioned someone online for it. I'm very happy with what they gave, and yeah.
That kind of jazzy intro and outro, like
oh yeah, to like the jazzy intro to like lead everything in and like fade it out. I felt it was a great touch.
Yeah, totally. Did you have a favorite gag, visual or otherwise, that made you laugh or still makes you laugh as many times as you've probably seen it?
Oh, there's a few. The moment where he pulls the cheese bread out of his pocket, that's a big one. In the camper RV, when the money does the thing,
Oh yeah.
1 to 200.
That's
And, yeah.
that's amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Not giving too much of it away during the chase, the things that appear out of nowhere. Those
yeah.
are so fun. So fun. So what corners did you have to cut? And what corners, when you're saying you wanted to keep it tight, it's right in at 10 minutes, whether it's in the editing or in the production, what corners did you have to cut and what corners did you refuse to cut?
That's a good question. There was supposed to be a scene between the ferry and him arriving onto the island and talking to Zacharias. It was basically the car driving along the road and him on a phone call with his boss before like him talking to his boss in person was ever even conceived as an idea. We had already shot most of the film. And there was originally a scene planned in to give that same contextual introduction to the film over a phone call, and we just had to cut it. It wasn't really necessary, and I'm not upset that we cut it. It wouldn't have been visually interesting. It's just him in the car. I felt like the little one we had was enough. One of the few things I really wanted to keep in was all the pizza traps. Specifically the last one before everything comes to a conclusion, where he quickly sets up like a sling with the huge like pizza cutter. I don't know what they're called. They're all called pizza cutters, but they don't like specify them within their own names. I didn't know this until like ordering the props. But yeah, that was one of the scenes that I just really wanted to keep in. I was ready to cut it if we had to for time, but I'm glad we didn't have to.
Speaking of the 48s, and anyone who's not familiar with the 48-hour film project, they're given a character prop, line of dialogue to shoot a film with no preparation, and you have 48 hours to complete it. Would you say that your experiences with 48-hour film projects helped you at all, given the constrained period of time that you have to do all that work and solve problems and think creatively?
The 48 hours is really good practice for us. It teaches us how to keep our heads in the game, know what corners we need to cut, but also like how to keep everything going smooth with limited time. It's really great practice. Everybody that had worked on mine was a part of the last one we did where we won the awards. The first one we didn't win any. It wasn't great. But yeah, no, it really helped a lot of us just keep everything smooth.
What was the name of that film? I'll have to look it up.
You're in Trouble, Sarah and Pelly.
You're in Trouble?
You're in Trouble, Sarah and Pelly.
Okay, I'm going to look that up. Is that Detroit?
Yes.
Okay, back to the program. What was the vibe like on set where you're producing a comedy? Is it as comedic on set as the product that you're creating, or was it strictly business, or what was the vibe?
I think it depends on who you ask. For me specifically, I tried to keep it as business as much as I could, while having fun, of course. But it was the first project for me where I really had to put a lot of effort into pre-production, which stressed me out quite a bit. And it made the days like I had to keep myself on top of things. Otherwise, like I needed to keep everybody going, you know. But for everybody else, I think it was just a fun time to be around, and like they were having fun with it. Yeah, good time. I think. I hope.
So tell me about Pizza Sundae. Who is part of that? What are their roles? What's the chemistry like?
Yeah. So Pizza Sunday is a group of us from Washington Community College. We just kind of found each other throughout their video program, and we just enjoyed working with each other so much, and we decided to keep doing it. There's a whole bunch of people who worked on my project who are in the credits that are a part of Pizza Sunday. Yeah, like Andrew Allen, he is probably like the person who keeps it all together. He's really good. He's good at what he does. I believe he tends to take usually more of a producer role. There's E. Holder, who tends to do more of a directorial role within our group. Mitch Mazer, as I was talking about, usually pretty good on camera. Then there's Justice, who I mentioned earlier, also usually in like post production, but also is pretty good at lighting. I tend to do more of a gaffer role within everybody's productions, but we all are very fluid. We don't like stick to one if we don't want to stay in that zone, you know?
Again, the original piece is a serious piece, the short story. So how, when you're turning this into a comedy, how did you walk the line between suspense and satire? Were there moments where maybe you wanted to go a little bit darker or maybe even a little bit sillier? How did you get that sweet spot where you are right now?
I think it was going in with the philosophy of that it has to take itself seriously, but it doesn't have to do serious things to get there. It's a lot in the script, I believe. With Mitch Mazer, the DP, I believe he enjoys action movies quite a lot, so I felt like he was really geared towards helping the movie take itself seriously within the shots and the compositions. And
so, the movie is screened one time before an audience?
Yeah, it was at our community college's film festival where we just put the productions throughout the semester, just on the screen in the auditorium.
So, was there any feedback that surprised you that you got from that screening?
Not really. For like most of like the editing process, I've had people like constantly take looks at it. So like anything they would have said, I've kind of mostly heard before. Nothing too new, and it was at like pretty much a completed state.
So when it screens here in Virginia, obviously a totally new audience, and you will be here for that screening. What are you hoping that Richmond, Virginia takes away from your screening?
I just hope they have fun. That's kind of what I wanted to do with this movie. I didn't want to do anything too serious. I just wanted to just make me smile. I want that to, emanate with other people.
All right. If someone gave you $100,000 to make a feature-length version of this film, what would you add, change, or go absolutely wild with? First of all, do you think there's feature material, or would you take that $100,000 to do something else entirely
I think I'd take it to do something else.
Okay.
I think it doesn't need to be any longer than it is.
Okay.
Like the original short story, 16 pages.
Okay. So what kind of film would you create if you had that kind of budget?
There is one I had about a fortune teller, which pretty not very fleshed out, but it wouldn't be as silly. It wouldn't follow along the taking itself too seriously thing. But
a drama?
Probably.
Oh,
I think it would be something like that. I feel weird about dramas because when it comes to feedback about them, it's not always as obvious with comedies because you can just hear them laughing. But with dramas, it's harder to immediately get that feedback.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Pineapple on pizza.
I don't want to try it. It doesn't sound good. It's probably fine though.
You're in the no camp though, since you've never had it. With ham, I think it's good. If it's ham and pineapple, that tastes good to me.
That's right.
So what's one film that made you want to become a filmmaker?
I didn't know I wanted to do this for a long time, and it just kind of fell into it. I'm glad I did, but I don't think there's a specific like moment or film. One I do like to aspire towards is like Hot Fuzz. That's so tight and like everything is so great within it. But for the most part, yeah, I think I just fell into it and I enjoy it now.
Is this something you see yourself doing for the rest of your life?
If I can, I'd love to.
Okay, awesome. Well, Ethan, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much. I can't wait to meet you in person here in Richmond on August 9th when The Most Delicious Game screens at Indie Fest.
I'm so excited.
Tell our viewers how they can follow along with The Most Delicious Game or anything new on the horizon. How can we find you?
For the most part, I'm posting about it on my social media. At Schmaltz Video on Instagram. That's where a lot of the stuff I'm doing goes. We're working on social media for Pizza Sundae, which will have more towards the whole group of us. But yeah, once that's up, it'll be links all over mine, so you can find it through there.
Awesome. Ethan, we'll see you in August.
Thank you. Have a great day.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Richmond Film Network podcast. Thanks to our guest and to you, our listeners, for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share. Tune in next week to see who's on the RFN pod. Until then, keep the cameras rolling.